So I'm sitting here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Dugenay, and I am happy to see that this particular Starbucks that I'm hanging out in and using the internet, there are actually chairs to sit down in. The one in the inner city of Albuquerque, there's no chairs. There's only
That's
little
weird.
tables to stand at because, well, people got into like chair fights and things of that nature. They didn't want people loitering. So Albuquerque, nice.
Yeah, very nice. That's wild, though. Chair fights.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I sip on my pink drink here at Starbucks, we welcome you to the Competition Plus Power Hour, and we've got a lot of powerful things to talk about. Mr. Bland, what a big weekend we've had in drag racing. What a big weekend we have upon us in drag racing. We have got so much to talk about, from the World Series of Pro Mod to Gatornationals to March Meet. We're going to have an NHRA rep on that is Senior Vice President of National Events. Great show coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. It's really starting to move forward here. We're starting to break through, and I'm looking forward to it, man. A lot of good storylines, and should be some great action this weekend.
Absolutely, it is going to be good. We've already seen some good action on the test stream. Thank you, NHRA, for providing stream down there at Gainesville Raceway for all of us to enjoy, and I'm sure they've had viewers. Clocks have been on, and the chat bleachers have been chatting away as a stream will do. It's amazing how things can be promoted, isn't it? Well, let's promote Weldon High Performance for this very show. Thank you for supporting the Competition Plus Power Hour, and let's get to some peak stories here on the Competition Plus Power Hour and really dive in, Dugenay, on what has took place in the world of drag racing and what we have ahead of us. Aaron Stanfield, the Pro Stock phenom, gets it done in the other door slammer, Pro Modified, in the big one in Pro Mod Racing.
Yeah, man. He's a tough competitor. He went through a lot of tough competitors, but had a great weekend. And he's getting the season started off right with a win and headed into Gainesville with a little bit of momentum and a lot of confidence.
Yes, and the Pro Stock racers are certainly showing that they can transition with really no problem to NHRA Pro Modified. I dare say the Pro Modified racers probably have a harder time transitioning to the naturally aspirating variety.
Yeah, I agree. A lot more things going on in that Pro Stock car than people realize. And I would say that, I think they're a little bit more seasoned to be able to transition to that Pro Mod. And it would be a little bit of difficulty for a Pro Mod racer to transition over there. I mean, right out of the gate, it's hot, most people fumble the burnout. So, it's a lot to that.
Yes. Apparently the hardest burnout in drag racing to be able to pick up. I mean, famously, Jay Leno never got it, and he never had a Pro Stock career. So thank you, Mark Powett, for that. Speaking of Mark Powett, debuting a new hot rod in Factory Stock Showdown. I like it.
Me too.
I wonder if we'll see him in IHRA Pro Stock at all.
Man, that would be nice to see him over there. That would be really nice to see him over there. Really a beautiful ride. And I'm looking forward to seeing, what those guys do this weekend.
Yes, that is going to be one to keep our eyes on. I know folks have been watching testing today in the comment section. What have you noticed from testing today? I saw a little bit of it. The early hits were good ones down the track when testing started. I know Matty Gordon has had some good hits. I know that the Force teams have had good hits, and seems like it's been a good day of testing overall. Looking forward to seeing my buddy Warren Evans get out of Gainesville and head on to Bakersfield, where I'm heading as well, where he will be heading to. And Bobby Bennett's got it in our notes, and I think it is a great question, Dujne, and a storyline, and this story is out there now on CompetitionPlus.com. Can John Capps, not Ron Capps, John Capps, the brother to Ron, extend the winning streak at Bakersfield, at Famoso Drag Strip, to 12. They are undefeated. March meet last year, undefeated. California Hot Rod Reunion in that Matthews Racing Nostalgia Funny Car. And we're looking at the Capps and Matthews combination doing it again. And I certainly think they're a car capable of being now the quickest Nostalgia Funny Car in the world.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where you put together so many wins, and when you come to the starting line, the people that you're up against, they tighten up a little bit. And you kind of have to. You got to respect them, what they've done there, and what they've been able to do. And I think he really does have a great shot at getting another win just because of that. And you know that they're confident in what they do. So it's going to be a great storyline to watch because it's really going to depend on how calm can the opposing driver be and not be concerned about and thinking about what they've done up to this point. It's kind of like the John Force effect.
Last year in the final round in flopper action, it was John Capps who did go on to win the March meet. It was Shane Westerfield in the Bucky Austin Hot Rod over in the other lane who red lit. I know Shane wants to get back for that one and redeem himself, in particular there at Famoso Drag Strip for the March meet. Tyler Hilton still looking for that coveted March meet win, even though 4-time champion in a row in the NHRA Heritage Series 4 Top Fuel. And then Kyle Huff looks to repeat in Fuel Altered, herding up the competition in the Sheep Herder. Before we get to our guest here on the Competition Plus Power Hour, looking at whether they're in Bakersfield, going to have a great show. Weather in Gainesville is also looking good, but I don't know if we'll see that 345 this weekend, Dujne.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. When you look at the weather conditions and you kind of look at what we saw today, it's real iffy. I mean, we've seen some 332s, we've seen a few 335s. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to 340. You're talking about if you look at your schedule and you look at when approximately they will be running. Sun's going to be on the racetrack. That's going to make a difference. It's not as cool as it has been in previous years, so that's going to play a factor as well. So it's really going to be. I don't think that is something that is capable of happening here this weekend. You'll see some 330s, 335s, maybe even a 336, and maybe an occasional 37 or 38. But I don't see 40 and 45.
Absolutely. I do not either. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are a few of the peak stories of the week. If you want all the other peak stories of the week, go to CompetitionPlus.com, a place where you can believe what you read on the internet concerning the sport of drag racing. We're going to take a break here. Right after the break, we're going to have our guest on here on the Competition Plus Power Hour presented by Weldon High Performance. And now we welcome to the show Evan. Evan, look, we're going to let you do some introductory remarks for yourself. So, name, title, age, social security. No, just give us the rundown.
Firstborn, blood type. Got it.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on the show. Excited to be here. and excited to get on a plane tomorrow and head out to Gainesville.
Lot of work that has gone into this whole thing with this 75th. It's a big deal, and kind of tell us a little bit behind the scenes of the amount of work, and I'm sure this started last year, of getting the legends together, getting this whole thing, making it what it is. And I feel like you guys have done a really good job of elevating this thing and making it, extra special.
Yeah, I mean, we're 18 months out, right? That's kind of where things start getting together. But I think, from that point till now is all sort of, in painter's term, it's blocking and it's sanding and it's taping off and it's doing all that stuff. This coming weekend, that's when we get to start painting, right? And the thing starts to come together. So, I think being a part of a community that has such a rich history makes it a little bit easier for us. I think in the docuseries, Caps talks about, giving due to all the other types of motorsports sanctioning bodies and stick and ball. But there is something truly special about our community. And really, I think this year is about celebrating all the people that we stand on their shoulders to be where we are today, right? And that's racers, it's track operators, it's tuners, it's grassroots racers, it's the whole thing. And it's a huge community. To your point, it's a big lift. I feel I think everyone at NHRA feels a sense of responsibility to get this one right. And we're excited to get out of the blocks. We're bullish on this year. We think it's going to be a big one for the sport as a whole. So,
absolutely, it's going to be mega, and we're all looking forward to it. Evan, how did you get started with NHRA drag racing? Where's the entry level for you to this point now, where it's SVP, which is Senior Vice President of National Events? Is that correct?
Yeah, that and $1 gets you over the bridge, right?
I understand. Titles are, yeah, I know.
I think we all know in this industry, you earn your stripes, right? Titles don't get you very far. I grew up at the racetrack, more on the road racing side. My dad was a bit of an amateur club motorcycle racer, so spent a lot of weekends kind of loading up the trailer and heading to racetrack. So we kind of bonded growing up over motorsports, much less sort of the stick and ball stuff. So when it was time to kind of find a profession, I just gravitated towards what I love to do, which was motorsports. At the time, I was really lucky. Frankie Buckman gave me a shot out at Firebird Raceway. Went in there more sort of under the road racing side of things, and NHRA came through, and I was enthralled by it. I mean, I don't need to sell to you or to any of the listeners that first time you see a nitro car, it is all consuming, right? And I think, gosh, that was 22-ish years ago. And I started with NHRA right after my master's in the field marketing department, doing all of the grassroots level stuff, the non-television, your junior drag racing, your Summit ET program, your Lucas stuff, and have just been kind of climbing and scrapping and clawing at the company ever since.
That sounds like, you have a plethora. You've seen a lot of things, been able to be involved with a lot of things. So you really have a good understanding of what's going on. And, as much as work it takes to get to these national events, when these national events are happening, how hard is it, man, to keep this thing on schedule, especially when things go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's all about having a good team, right? These things are not run by any one person. They're a 10-ring circus, and it takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of coordination. And at the NHRA, we're really lucky to have great partners, right? The racetrack operators, our racers, the television production team, our social team, the competition team, tech. It has to be a coordinated effort, especially to land the items now that national events have become. When I first started, everything was tape delayed. We were in that 7 to 10 prime time window, and we could just start at one end of the schedule and just run until we got to the other. And now, we're bobbing and weaving to land live windows on TV and live on social and all these things that have just become part of the day to day. But to your point, when Mother Nature gets involved, when the cars decide that they're not going to behave that day, that's when you lean on having really good partners to be able to pull those things off, and honestly to be able to deliver for the fans, right? We all work for them at the national events, and to give them what they paid for, and more.
Speaking of that more for the fans and the National Hot Rod Association, in so many ways being built upon fan access more so than any other motorsport out there. Every ticket is a pit pass as a trademark. Well, what can we expect in the 75th season, and even in particular the Gatornationals, for the fans that is an enhancement to the National Hot Rod Association fan experience?
Sure. I mean, I think, I don't know, for me, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. This week is kind of like Christmas, right? Like I just can't wait to get out there. And in addition to all of the 75th stuff, I mean, if you're looking for storylines and you can't find them right now heading into Gainesville, you probably need to find something else to do, right? So I think, heading into this year, there's so much great momentum, right? There's so many great storylines. I mean, I'm sure you guys are already kind of salivating over the 345 that was ripped off, and granted that was kind of Disneyland conditions, but like, Maddie getting into a car, Force obviously energized, and Jordan Vandergriff getting into a funny car, Proc and Tasca, Leah back in the seat, what's Tony going to do with a new outfit? And that's just in fuel, right? I mean,
Right.
The Elite KB thing, the Pro Stock motorcycle, I think we all were gutted at the end of the year as there's some unfinished business there. So I think that alone is this great platform, this great springboard to bring us into the 75th. But I think this year, having the legends on site is sort of like the easy high level, it's amazing, right? That we're going to have Joe Amato, Kenny Bernstein, Garlitz, Shirley, Snake, Gwynn, Holly, Bruce Larson, Warren Johnson. I mean, all on site just in Gainesville. And that's what you're going to see all year long, right? But the fact that we're going to get that group of people together under the same roof, we're going to put some of them in cars, as I think you guys probably saw earlier today, which is fun. But they're going to be talking to the fans. We're going to be grabbing a ton of B-roll, because when's the next time that we're going to get that group to tell those stories, right? The fans are going to be invited down to be part of those stories, right? I think when you show up in Gainesville this year, it has to be different. And I think you're going to, as a fan, walk on site. Everything has been sort of given a little bit of a 75th touch, right? I think the fans are going to engage with all of the new selfie station things we've got around, all of the flags and the banners and the bunting that'll be there. Nitro Mall is completely brand new, and has some really, really cool, some stuff I'm going to go in and get down on. So the safety safari wagon, we're kind of bringing that back in kind of a modern concept. So I can go on and on. I want to get out there and kind of experience it with the fans. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, usually those are some cool things that we just heard ripped off right there.
Yeah.
I like, Nitro Mall being revamped, safety safari, and I mean, even selfie stations. I mean, it's a part of the game today. You've got to get people marketing for you while they're at your event. It's just part of it.
We've got a 10-foot NHRA oval that fans, which sounded like a great idea until the thing showed up in the Road Ready case, and I'm like, how are we getting this from event to event, right? I mean, you see the size of it, right, when they're creating it, and then it comes in that case, and you're like, that's bigger than what I thought it was going to be, right? But, I mean, the 75th Wally is going to be on display for the fans to take pictures with. We got a 7-foot tall Wally that you can take photos with. So I think all those things, to your point, Lee, they're part of the game. People want to take memories home from these kind of staple events.
Yeah, and my question to you is, that with social media, people can respond very quickly, whether it's positive or negative. Do you guys pay attention to that when it comes down to the fans and what they may be saying there in social media, and try to maybe meet them halfway?
I think you have to, right? If you're not listening to your customer, you're missing the boat, right? That said, I think there are times where social media can become a bit of a trap, in that you're seeing maybe the voice of a certain group, but maybe not the majority. So I think you owe it to your customer to make sure that you're not getting your source of truth from maybe one location, right? I think it's why we want to have why we have fan groups, why we have SRAC groups, why we monitor from afar all the social content, right? Because I think if you pull it all together, you get the truth, right?
Yeah.
All right. 75th season, great. Gatornationals, it's going to be spectacular. Let's get down to some practical measures here, though.
Sure.
Evan. You look at a national event weekend, where is it that in your personality, you're like, man, this is a breeze. I got this. I handle this. It just fits me well. And then what's that other element of a national event that you're like, I really don't like this. This stresses me out every time, even though I know how to do it and I've done it.
Man, that's a good question. I think the national events are these living, breathing animals, right? And they're always shifting, right? I love the fact that there is the lead up, right? All the planning. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end, right? And you recap it. And I love having that sort of consistency that you can always use as the measuring stick for things. It's probably the easy out on the thing that really is difficult, but you could do all the planning in the world. You can be prepared to have just an absolute throwdown of an event. And if Mother Nature decides that it's not your weekend, right? It takes all that hard work, all that effort, all those things that we're going to create this magical moment for all of these people and these racers and these track operators. And it immediately goes out the window. And that may be just feeling a bit snake bit from Pomona, but then also, last year she was a bit challenging to work with. So I think if the sun shines down on us this year, we're going to be working hard to make sure we take care of the rest.
Evan, we've had for the past probably 4 or 5 years, it's either rain or it's freezing cold. And I looked at the weekend like a week ago, and I was like, I don't want to get too happy, but this looks pretty good. And then we get to this week, and I'm like, boy, I ain't seen 80s at the Gatornationals since like what, mid 2015, 16?
I think I haven't. I've been at the Gatornationals for at least the last 20 years, and I don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched. And if I told you how many times I updated my weather app, it would probably tell you a little bit about what's at stake there. But
you and me both.
I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. But that's what Cinderella said, right?
Right.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Well, it's going to be a spectacular event. It's all going to go well. I think both East Coast and West Coast are going to have some great weather and get some good drag racing in and get this season really to a roar in the drag racing world, especially the varieties that burn nitromethane. What about the Top Fuel call-out happening this race around? And what are the inner workings of a race within a race and all of that coming together, and even TV time slots? That just it's a chaotic mess. Just the race within a race is tough enough, but then let's hit this and this and this.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's Gainesville, right? We're gonna pack as much stuff as we possibly can into it. I enjoy sort of the call out piece. It's a little bit different, right? It takes us out of our normal sort of regime there, and watching the drivers and the crew chiefs come together to figure out who they're going to call out and hurt feelings or not hurt feelings, right? And let it all play out on the drag strip is always fun. I think that's part of Gainesville, right? It's always going to be something where we're packing as much as we possibly can into it. That's just the way it goes,
Yeah. It is a fun deal though, and I think probably the toughest part is the TV stuff, because you got that window where they kind of record everything and you record the call outs, and then you got the race. It probably throws a little bit in there, but I'm assuming I'm going to be positive here. This weather is going to really help things a lot.
I just hope you're not jinxing us, Dejanay. I just hope
no. Oh no.
Well, not talking about it hasn't worked. So maybe we start talking about it, and that's gonna work.
Yes, I believe in this.
Yeah. All right. We'll go with that. If that works, I'm coming back on the show before every race. You get that, right?
Yeah, we got it.
Evan, you mentioned that it's been about 20 years of the Gatornationals for you. That's a good time going down to Gainesville routinely. You've got to have some good spots that fans and racers and other peeps alike could hit up and enjoy as far as the local food fare. What do you got?
I am not your food guy. Typically, I am out at the track late, and I get there early, so I eat what we have at the track. There are some folks, as you know, that have their stops, right? And I find it funny. A lot of our racers and some of the touring folks, they have their spots. You can set your watch that on Friday night they're going to do this, on Saturday night they're going to do that. I don't know if you prescribe to that, but for sure, there are folks out there that'll give you exactly the roadmap to where to go and what day to find this driver here and that driver there.
Well, yeah, I have a few spots, but I don't normally stay. But I'm staying this year on Saturday. Give me a little bit of a break. Throughout this whole year, this is going to be something that I feel like it's going to be something that's never been seen before. Watch your fans get out and make sure that if there's an event close to them, that they should definitely get out this year and be present at a race this year.
When I first started at NHRA, I was really lucky that Wally Parks was still coming into the office pretty regularly. And he made sure that everybody knew that our job, above and beyond all else, was to protect and preserve the sport of drag racing while sort of using safety as sort of that, that blueprint for us. I think this 75th anniversary is a celebration of that amazing man's mission and vision for this sport. And I think if, this sport is important to you, now is the time to get out. And, I say that not just at a national event level. I think a lot of times our celebrations have been specific to where the lights and the cameras and all that stuff is. But I think the other thing that Wally impressed upon all of us, and we continue to impress upon our team today, is that this sport is built on the backbone. It's the 100-member tracks, right? It's the 40,000 racers. And it's our job that universe feels part of this celebration, right? An ET racer needs the ability to get the opportunity to win one of those 75th Wallies and the crystal medallions, right? I love that the DDs are working hard to expand the ET race in Vegas, which is one of my favorites, when those guys and gals come from all across the country to battle out best ET racers in the country in Vegas, and we're going to go from 8 to 16. I think this is all about making sure that this whole community, to your point, meets us in this celebration. And maybe it's at the national event. And if you can do that, fantastic. But if you can't, when you go to your local track, you need to feel a part of that celebration too, because that's what this whole thing is built on, right? And that's where, Wally Parks 51 gets in the drag safari, and it just starts building, right? I find it fitting this year that we're going to go to 4 new facilities. In my tenure here, I think I can remember one brand new, one back to, and one older facility that we were going to for the first time in 20 years. And we're going to do 4 in 1 year. And I feel like that's so fitting, right, in sort of that thought process of the safari and getting out to the people, right? I'm excited to go to South Georgia, to Maryland, to 131, to Rockingham, right? I mean, not to mention the fact those track operators they're the real deal, right? I mean, they know what they're doing. We're excited to partner with them, but I'm excited for new DMAs to come out and see a national event, right? That maybe couldn't drive that far or do the hotel thing, or you know what I mean? Like we're bringing it to them. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the ingress egress of those events coming up keep me up at night a little bit, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get everybody in and out.
Absolutely. Bill Bader will certainly preach on the importance of ingress and egress of any event. I saw him go
directing
out
cars to the top end.
I saw him go out of the crow's nest and inform a highway patrol at his facility how important ingress and egress was. I will not ever forget that. So certainly important. And there are a lot of great things going on, this season. I love that the Fairplex is getting some more things on track. Right after March meet, there's going to be a divisional out there, and In and Out supporting it. A lot of cars at that event, and you've got, as you said, the new national events. I really think the 75th season for the NHRA in 2026 could really be a season that decades from now we look back and like, man, this was a turning point on the upward trajectory that saw it skyrocket. I think it's there. It can happen. And I think in capable hands such as yourself and others, we can get there. So you all keep up the good work. No pressure.
Well, listen, it takes an army. We appreciate all the folks at Competition Plus that keep our stuff top of mind as we're trying to push it, because we're in it together, right? I think sometimes we forget that the tide will rise all the ships, right? I want to see NASCAR, succeed. I want to see IndyCar succeed. I want to see Formula One continue to garner more strength, right? These are all things that I think help motorsports in general. And to your point, I mean, listen, if we didn't do this right, the 75th would still be sort of a shooting a fish in a barrel type of situation. But I think everyone at NHRA views this as a great opportunity to create sort of that new level of which we use as a springboard, right? We don't want to look at a graph in 3 years' time and go, oh yeah, that was the 75th year, right? I think we want to find where that level is and then maintain it. We're going to have a lot of fans coming back to give us another shot that maybe haven't been out for a while. And I think we're going to have some people coming to try us out for the first time. And it's our job to make sure that, they have that first experience that I think you and most of your listeners had, right? Of this is now part of me, right? I'm going to go to more events. I'm going to follow it on TV, right? And build from there, right? And continue that Wally mission.
And you all are going to do exactly that in 2026. Evan, look, thank you for your time. Enjoy Gainesville, Florida.
Appreciate you guys having me on. And Dujournay, I'll see you out there. You said Saturday?
I'll be there every day.
All right. We'll see you there.
All right, Evan.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our Weldon High Performance guest of the week. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you concerning Weldon High Performance. Yes, you can have their pumps on your race car. You should. And here's why. They make aviation pumps. Aviation, that's a big word for flying. You don't want your fuel pump to fail in the air. So if they make fuel pumps for the metal birds that keep people safe up in the air, I think they know what they're doing on the ground in a drag car. So, Weldon High Performance. Even fits for those flying cars we see occasionally from time to time. If you need to perform highly and pump it, you need Weldon High Performance. Well, Dujanay, we'll take the time now, transition to the ARP question of the week.
Well, Mike Kristen won the last week's trivia. That question was the first Don Schumacher driver to win a championship, even though he wasn't driving for him at the time, was Raymond Beadle.
Look at that man. Look at the hair.
Yeah, man.
Look at the hair. And it doesn't have it's not full beard Raymond Beadle quite yet either.
No.
But
no,
it's full mop Raymond Beadle right here for sure.
For sure. Yeah. That's a funny car driver.
Yeah, Raymond Beadle obviously goes on and is, driver owner of Blue Max and championships and spurs off into the NASCAR world as well. And I mean, just a racer through and through and a fan favorite for decades. Even to this day, people talk about the lore, the myth of Raymond Beadle.
Yeah.
Because it was true, honestly. It wasn't myth or just legend. He was a funny car driver of funny car drivers.
No doubt, no doubt. So our question of the week. When did John Force win his first champion? Let me do this again. When did John Force win his first funny car championship? When did John Force win his first funny car championship? And where to?
You folks, you need to think. You need to think.
Need to think.
Okay. Power Hour Show CPTV@gmail.com. Send it in. That was the ARP question of the week. Make sure that you fasten down your answer in your email and send it on. The ARP question of the week. There is no one finer in the world of fasteners. From Top Fuel to, oh wow, I mean, Arrow. If you need a fastener, the top is ARP. It is that simple.
Yeah.
Guys, don't forget to visit the store. You got an opportunity through the ARP question of the week to win swag, to win, NHRA.TV subscriptions. But you definitely need to go by the store. I was talking to Bobby Bennett earlier today. There are some new shirts about to drop. You want to stay in tune to what's happening at CompetitionPlus.com store and make sure that you're able to pick up these T-shirts, because he mentioned that some of these, they're gone already. You got to get them while they're hot. He mentioned that someone bought like 12 earlier today.
Wow.
One buy. So you need to get them. If you like that Warren Johnson shirt, if you like that Lee Shepherd shirt, if you like what's coming up shirt-wise, possibly some Nova Wagon action, just saying. Possibly some Lumina flamed action, just saying. You need to be ready to click purchase at CompetitionPlusStore.com. Be ready.
Yeah, it's good stuff there. So what's our cool video of the week?
Pro Modified, right? Pro Modified is the 26th season in the NHRA.
It is.
Though a much longer history overall. Roots in the IHRA, Quick 8 throughout. Oh, he's getting our way. Oh. Well, they touched. They did touch.
They touched a little bit.
He crosses the center line, both of them, touches the other car, and now we're backing up normally, like nothing happened.
Yeah. Nothing to see here, folks.
Nothing to see here. Do not notice the hole next to the headlight.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
Tis.
Well, he can sun, by the way. That's a name.
Yes. Yeah, Johnny Rocco, these Mercuries, they were beautiful machines, whether the new rendition or this rendition. Great cars. I know at one time that we all were tired of these split window Corvettes, but now I frankly miss them, even though there were so many of them purging the nitrous.
That's true. That is true.
You got a nitrous car, gets a blown car.
Doug rubbing his racing.
We got an Indian on the starting line pulling in the Merc into the beams.
Yeah.
This is like 1950, 1960 again. Indians bringing a car to the line. Staging up for a pro-modified exhibition in the National Hot Rod Association. Look, this was groundbreaking. Not just what happened on track, but this was even happening at all in the NHRA through the quarterfinal.
That's amazing. Two good-looking cars.
Absolutely. Look, I don't know what NHRA Pro Mod's got planned this weekend, but I think they need Indians and they need to cross center lines and burnouts and just swap lanes and back up and start from there. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Good stuff, though. Good
stuff.
Oh,
that was great. Spectacular. Pro modified. You got to love it. And I do love it. I do have my eye a bit more on the outlaw pro mod scene. I don't have to watch the fastest and quickest things out there. I want variety, honestly. Like, I love that. You got the Corvette. Now, I know at that time there was a lot of those Corvettes, but you've got the Mercury as well. Give us some more diversity out there.
Yeah.
Pro mod. It is going to help it for sure.
A lot.
I'm seeing some things from NHRA Pro Mod thus far that I'm liking. I'm seeing some more reels. I'm seeing some more posts. They're sitting at about 43,000 followers, and they've been there a while. In this 25th season, they need to break out for themselves.
Indeed.
And move forward with the platform. And they've got some opportunity to do that. They have the NHRA going to put qualifying, if I remember correctly, on YouTube, NHRA YouTube for everybody to see. And they also are going to stream round one of NHRA Pro Mod. So you're not just waiting on the tape-delayed variety on Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2. You're going to be able to see the action as well, round one on YouTube, and certainly NHRA.tv. See it all.
Yeah, that's a big move, and I think it's a good move to, grab viewers. That's important these days, taking advantage of, the YouTube and you see people taking advantage of the Amazon Prime deal. Those things are really important, and you do reach a new, set of fan that watches, and I think that'll help out their brand a lot when they do this here this year, and I think they'll see that.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for them, and we will see what takes place. I don't know what the ticket prices are at Gainesville. I have not.
Oh, I know what they are.
Gatornationals. Okay, great. Give it to us.
They are for reserve. They're $92. Okay. For general admission, reserved is $82.
Okay.
And general admission, I think it's still in the 80s, but it's expensive. I mean,
you're talking about Sunday.
I'm talking about that was just for Saturday.
Okay.
I'm sure the ticket prices are higher for Sunday. Either way, regardless, those things, they are a really high ticket price. And I know people are like, well, a football game costs more, but I get it, but we're still talking about a racetrack. We're still talking about drag racing, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. $100 ticket. I don't know.
Well, you factor in inflation and do all of that, and sometimes, I get it. I understand those metrics, but the fact is as well that, hey, inflation's hit everybody,
Yeah.
and we haven't seen, here's a great question. Could you do this study? Could you see this? This would take so much time. But has your fan base grown economically along with you as a sport
Right.
to sustain such a ticket price? There's a great question. I don't even want to dive into that, but I'll ask it. Someone do that, please.
So it's still $92, $92.75 for Sunday. If you're looking at the reserved on the pit side, you look at your general admission is $82.75, and your reserved general admission is $87.75. So, I mean, it's high.
It is high. Look, it is a crown jewel event. It is the season opener. It is the 75th season. I've got, no issue of the price being up there a bit. I'm sure there's going to be other national events that will be far more economical.
Yeah.
Granted, you do have, like the IHRA option.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, your argument you could say is with the IHRA option, you're going to have less on a weekend because it's not 4 rounds of eliminations. It's not 4 rounds of qualifying. But that may be the option that you choose to go with, and it makes more sense.
Right. Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, with what you do have and what you're getting, what Evan was talking about. I mean, I think the $90 is worth it. You know what I mean? It's a once in a lifetime deal with this Gatornationals. It's not like any other one. This will never be repeated. So all these things, I had no idea Bruce Larson was going to be there. But you talk about the legends that will be there. Then you look at all the stuff that they're talking about in the midway. You get 2 races in one race with the All-Star call out. It's high, but I understand that, with this, it's worth it. Now, my thing would be, though, if you're going to charge these ticket prices, then make your food reasonable.
And I have no clue what the food costs at Gainesville. It's been a while, but I agree with you. If you're going to have a higher ticket, work on food packages, and I'm sure you can get your wristband or get your stamp and go out, come back in. I hope that's the case. Pack a lunch, do that type of thing for yourself. But everything is more expensive in our day and time. Any professional level, it is more expensive. And as a fan, choose where you're going to go. And here's an example. I had an opportunity, though my wife and I decided not to. I could have went to a cup race in Atlanta. I looked at the ticket price. I'm like, man, I really don't want to pay that price to see a cup race. But I certainly saw a value in half the ticket for 2 races with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series cars the day before. So pick and choose.
Yep.
If an entire weekend isn't for you, pick a day. Okay? I remember years ago, did not go Saturday, did not go Sunday. Dad and I, we went Friday qualifying. It was more economical at the time. You got to see a whole lot more cars, and it typically went a little bit into the night. And even at one time had a true nighttime session, even at Atlanta Dragway. So pick and choose. Pick and choose.
Yeah, that's simple.
It really is. Be smart about it.
For sure. Guys heard anything about?
The only things I have heard concerning Krista is you can certainly expect her in the IHRA. I know we'll see her in the NHRA. She's put some things out on her social media. She does post, so swing by there. She's certainly getting ready to get back in the car, and I'm sure she's open to entertaining people getting into that ride and that car being out there and her functioning as a team owner as she has done in the past. You got to remember Spencer Massey now has his own operation that he will be going drag racing with, and he won't be sitting in the Krista Baldwin ride. So no telling who we might see in that car. I mean, we've seen so many shakeups. I would not have called Gary Pritchett in the Foley Lewis Racing dragster. Not anything against Gary, but I just didn't think Foley would be ready to give up the seat. And it may not be entirely. I haven't talked to Doug, but Gary is certainly a good choice, but I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Yeah, me neither.
There's some great things happening in the sports. People are getting a shot, and frankly, I know everybody's talking about Tasca versus Proc, but I can't wait for Pritchett versus Pruitt.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be real interesting. Yeah, they had a rough day today in testing, though. Lee, on the other hand, very good day. Cars really showing promise. Obviously, we'll see what happens on Friday and Saturday, but they definitely looked really good in testing.
Well, that's good to hear that is the case. And look, testing is just that. You're testing. I've seen so many weird things happen in testing. Again, posted that reel from testing at Bradenton that you had the individual with the cobalt, that turbo, it laid it all in at once, and it just, and I mean, he had to be that close. He had to be that close. I know there was a moment in that car, like, I didn't hit it. I should have hit it.
Right.
Hit it. And then there's that slow drive off. Okay. Look, that was testing. He comes back the next lap and he goes down the track. Okay. And the next lap after that, he blew the tires. So you're finding that range, and testing is important.
Dude, Jackie Frick came right out 519. I think it was like 289 or something like that, something crazy.
Speaking of top alcohol dragster, the McPhillips gang looked good in testing, and I put up some content with Jackie. Jackie's going to be dangerous, I think, this year. Look, perennial championship contenders for like ever, but she said this to me. She's like, I'm at my core a bracket racer. I know how to hit the tree. But the way the car has been set up, we've had a quick and fast hot rod, but it hasn't been quick off the line like I want to be. So she talks to John, and they work on the tune-up. Well, now they got a bad, fast, quick hot rod, and it's quick off the line. She was hitting 30s and 40s off the tree in an A-fueler. And so you put that ET
16 as well
with that mile per hour, and her getting off the line like that, it's going to be tough.
It's over. Over. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. But I think they're going to be dominant, man. I really do.
Look, it's going to be tough. Oh, and by the way, look at this. We're talking about testing, and we're talking about numbers and people watching and people tuning in. So people will tune in to just watch cars going down the track.
Yeah. Bro. They will.
They will. If you're testing, I want to see it. Put it on stream. Somebody figure it out.
Yeah.
Someone needs to stream. Look, the big Brainerd test up there in Minnesota right before the U.S. Nationals. That is a massive one. Like, everybody's trying to get that, push into Indy and beyond right. That one needs to be streamed.
That one does need to be streamed. That would be fun.
Someone do it. Come on.
That's a whole nother level of testing right there.
It is massive, yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't want somebody knowing something, well, don't put all the stickers on the car and don't put them in their fire suit with all their sponsors and go incognito and, let's figure it out.
I mean, we saw Cruz, he pulled out an all-black body with just Snap-on on it, like, didn't debut this car.
Right.
I mean, I got to see it earlier, but I got to see it a little bit earlier, but that was nice. It's a nice car.
Yeah, it's a nice car. It looks good. And it's great that the partners we've got coming in. I love that. I love the schedule for the NHRA. I love where they're going with the Mission Food Series. I love that we're looking at a lot of paid drivers for the first time in a while in season. That is great for the sport.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ron Capps. Thank you, Skag with Will Smith. Thank you, Doug and Gary. It's cool right now.
It is.
And I think we might be getting some forward momentum in elements and see where it goes.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Before we get out of here, there's something. So we have all these tool sponsors now. You look at Carlisle, you look at Cornwell, Snap-on. Am I missing one? I think I'm missing one. But
Matco.
So you got these tool sponsors. And I watching the NASCAR race, I see Castrol on the car. And I looked it up, reasoning why they left, and it was basically return, ROA, return on investment, right? And at the time that they left, the NHRA didn't have the TV deal that they have now. And social media is a little bit different than it was when they left. And I think there are some really good ladies and gentlemen that do more ladies than do really good work with their social media. First one comes to mind for me is Ida. Why aren't we having a conversation with Castrol and getting them back in the game of NHRA drag racing? Because they're not against it, but it's kind of like what we heard. We heard from Redline Oil when we had him on, talking about why and how they go about enacting sponsorships. It's not any different. So why isn't there somebody pitching to them to get them back into NHRA? And I think that Ida is a prime example and a good candidate for that because of her social media work and how out front she is.
I agree with you. What fascinates me with Ida in particular, you've got this well-spoken, attractive, capable European trying to be successful in the leading element of a motorsport, and it happens to be in the United States of America, the National Hot Rod Association. Well, I'm surprised a group like Total, which is based out of France, if I remember correctly, or Liquid Moly, and some of these European brands not gravitating towards her and using her as a marketing platform to Americans and bridging that gap. Like, let us figure out through Ida how to get Total products into an American car, American-owned car. I don't mean necessarily an American nameplate, but you've got this American citizen. They have grown up in the United States of America, and when they go and buy oil, they're thinking Quaker State, they're thinking Pennzoil, they're thinking Haviland. They're not thinking beyond STP
Right.
to Liquid Moly to Total, but have that brand push that element through her. I think that's a possibility. I don't know why that hasn't happened, or I think, like, why doesn't Emirates Airlines partner with someone like a Julie Natus or something?
Right.
I think that would fit absolutely well in this demographic. Now, Drag Racing Mayhem is making some great points. Look, NHRA drag racers have got to work on their following. I say this routinely. I can go and cover a NASCAR test that is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the O'Reilly cars, and a lot of the stars in those lower series compared to the highest level of Cup have more followers than many of our professional drivers. I made the example here on this very show. I've got 95,000 followers. I don't have a top fuel car. Justin Ashley's like at 35,000. It should be the other way around.
Yeah.
Like it's got to change. Having 95,000 followers doesn't guarantee you a sponsorship, but it certainly can help ink a deal. And everybody needs to be growing their platform in the sport for the overall growth of the sport. But I will say that the NASCAR's ROI and NHRA's ROI to a marketing partner, Drag Racing Mayhem, is different. It's not the same thing. Many people who are partnering with NHRA teams, they're looking for something different in that partnership that they can't get in NASCAR. And let me tell you what the critical difference is. And this is why almost every team has this trailer: hospitality.
Yep.
You cannot really do that in NASCAR like you do at the National Hot Rod Association. And that hospitality, this is what it is. We're going to give you sponsorship. We're going to get our marketing with you. And the kickback is to those who are our best sales reps, to those who are our best stores, to those who have succeeded in our business model under that marketing. We're going to give them a weekend at the races.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. That's why hospitality is so big in the NHRA drag racing. It's more bang for my marketing dollars because I get to go in that pit. I get to have that experience. I get to have that connection. And NASCAR, you're not getting that.
No. It's very tough to do there. And
yes.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Well, we need to take time for the parting shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great photo by Whit Bazemore, by the way.
Yes, the great Whit Bazemore. Wow. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I noticed, and I'm going wow for the Lincoln Mercury, not anything else in the photo.
Yeah.
We don't see that anymore on the NHRA drag car.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yep. Oh, the great Linda Vaughn.
Yeah, Linda Vaughn, Kenny Bernstein, obviously the funny car days, and enjoying it up in Victory Lane. Now you can certainly know why Linda Vaughn is so famous. Some of y'all need to chill.
Yeah, some of y'all need to chill.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Competition Plus Power Hour. Thank you for watching over there. Mr. Dugenay Bland, catch him later, I assume, not Bland Show?
Yes.
Okay, catch him later, not Bland Show. I got to keep rolling down the road westward to Bakersfield, and therefore, March meet. Lee Craft out.